How's it going? How was your day? When we ask each other this question, usually we don't actually want an authentic response. We just want to check in and emotionally connect. But if we were to actually try to answer that question authentically, what criteria would we use to determine whether our day was great or whether life is going well? Most of the time, people use the criteria of external things that are not in my control happen to me and I like them or I don't like them. If I like them, things are going well. If I don't like them, things are going badly. So a good day is when things I prefer to have happen actually do happen. Well, there's one problem with that, of course. We don't control all that stuff out there. So if we determine whether our day, our life is good based on things that happen to us that are not in our power, then we're at the mercy of those things. So one approach some people take is to focus on the good things or the things they prefer that are external to them, that they like, and ignore or put in the background the things they don't like. So practices of cultivating gratitude, for instance, which have been clinically proven to be effective at making people happier, focus on the things that are happening to me that I like. My relationship's going well, so I'm so grateful for my relationship. Or, my car is running, so I'm so grateful that my car is functioning and can get me to where I want it to go. That sort of thing. And that can be a useful thing, especially if you generalize the feeling of gratitude no matter what's actually happening, because there's always something you can be grateful for. Even if you just lost your job and some terrible things have been happening, you can still be grateful for what you do have. So that's one approach. There's also another approach from the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. By Stoicism, I do not mean emotionally repressed and shut down and always cold and calculating. That's Stoic with a lowercase s. Stoicism with a capital S was a philosophy of life that really focused on the fact that some things are within our power while others are not. And if we try to control those things that are not within our power, then we're in trouble because those things can batter us around, right? And we'll be very unhappy and we'll blame gods and men, as Epictetus used to say. In other words, the world hates me, the universe clearly is out to get me, all these people, getting in my way, and that sort of thing. So, but if we focus on things that are in our control, that we can do something about, and that's really our sphere of attention. Really just paying attention to what things that we can do to either enhance the situation or remove ourselves from the situation and so on, then we can always feel empowered. So what makes a good day in a Stoic point of view? Well, that would be if you encountered some challenges throughout the day, some things you didn't like, but you responded to them well. You accepted that they are happening and you figured out, well, what can I do in response to this? So that's a very different way of conceiving of what makes a good day or what makes a good life, right? So if someone asks you, how's it going? And you just had 12 things go wrong today, in other words, things that you didn't prefer to have happen occurred, but you responded to them well, you can say you had a great day from a Stoic perspective. From a perspective of, well, these things happened to me and I didn't like them, then it was a terrible, awful disaster of a day. But from the Stoic perspective, it could actually still be an amazing day, a fantastic day. You might not feel amazing, but it can still be a wonderful day. And that's what's really beautiful about this perspective from Stoicism that I really like. It also makes that possible for your entire life. So everyone can potentially have a useful, wonderful, wise life, even in the most harsh of circumstances. Of course, that doesn't mean we want harsh circumstances for other people or that we want to design a society in which everyone has the absolute most challenge so that they can be maximally stoic. No, of course not, right? It's a philosophy of personal development or a personal approach to the world given the circumstances. It doesn't mean we can't act politically to change those circumstances to make a more fair and just world for all. Of course, we can also do that, and we should. Anyway, hi, my name's Duff, and I'm a hypnotist. I help people through the internet, through video chat, as well as here in Boulder, Colorado in my office, to make the kinds of changes they want in their life and to make those changes automatic, so it doesn't require a lot of conscious willpower. If you are wanting to have a better life, a better day, and want to inhabit more of that Stoic perspective, there's specific techniques from hypnosis and NLP that can help you to respond to the challenges of life in a more resilient and resourceful way. So get in touch. My website. I'll put in the link below, and you can check that out, and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.